So this is the daughter of the ruler of Dubai, and apparently she uses controversial rule on social media.
So I usually do my homework. I find somebody who knows somebody or something. If you give me some information, like who is it? Like who is he? And Frenchie, they got me the tape. They got me the tape of his mother's house, where his mom's work at. You know what I'm saying? The other cribs, the studios, stuff like that.
That's the Cali tape.
Right.
Okay.
I had all of it.
50 Cent never lets French Montana breathe easy. The man got jokes and jabs locked and loaded, and every time French's name pops up on the blogs, 50's right there with a fresh shot. But this round of shade ain't just petty trolling. It cracked open a way bigger convo about what French is really running from and what he might be running straight into. See, the headlines make it look glamorous. French Montana engaged to a Dubai princess worth $18 billion. To the casual fan, that sounds like he upgraded from Bronx hustle to global kingpin vibes. But scratch past that glitter, and things ain't looking so picture perfect. Word on the street is that French's so-called fairy tale isn't about love at all, it's survival mode. With Diddy still circling the feds and whispers of investigations dragging on, French allegedly needed a lifeline, and Dubai started looking like the prettiest escape route on earth. But here's the kicker. Paradise ain't spotless. Folks who've peeked into Dubai's shadows say it straight. Yes, the skyscrapers blind you with shine, the whips drip with diamonds, and the money never stops flowing. But behind that gloss, stories of royals with appetites so outrageous they make Hollywood's wildest scandals look like kiddie cartoons. The whispers about princes flying in celebs for things too nasty to even repeat didn't just pop up yesterday, they've been around for years. So when fans see French, a dude known for chasing checks, partying too wild, and getting cozy with powerful figures to move up, suddenly locking arms with a princess and parking himself under a $7 billion safety net, people can't help but side-eye it. Love ain't the problem. Folks just think survival's the bigger motivation, and that's why 50's shade cut deep. When he hinted French got bought, he wasn't just talking about an engagement ring. He was clowning the idea that French traded one boss for another. He ducked out of Diddy's storm only to possibly land in a whole different fire where the rules might be just as twisted. Obeying power, bowing to wealth, and playing games where accountability doesn't exist. That's the trap. The irony smacks hard. French thought Dubai was the escape hatch. But if even half those whispers about the princes are true, he might have jumped out of Bad Boy's blaze straight into Dubai's furnace. And unlike the feds, who eventually cut deals or move on, royalty in Dubai doesn't forget. They play for keeps. That's why this so-called $7 billion escape plan might not be salvation at all. It might just be a golden cage French can't break out of.
Collar comes out, like we said, and now you have real deals on the table. And out of all those, you go with Diddy.
That's not how it really went.
Was it Diddy? Was it Bad Boy MMG?
Yeah, I went to go see Ross. And Ross was like, I got an opportunity for you. I don't have the money for you, but I got the opportunity. I guess because the same thing Meek did, the same thing Wale did. I guess whatever the way the situation, his label was, he wasn't trying to give me the money I wanted. And I wanted like a whole bunch of money. But he was like, look, let's do it like this. Let's call Puff. And let's get him to give you the bag. You can still be MMG / you know what I'm saying? Bad Boy, Coke Boys, yep.
Right. How much money did you get?
$2 million.
Now let's spin it back, because you can't really understand French Montana's so-called escape to Dubai without clocking how he even got pulled into Bad Boy's orbit in the first place. French didn't just pop that and walk into Diddy's arms like it was destiny. Nah, there's way more to it. The signing always smelled a little funky, and with everything that's come out about Puff in the last 2 years, fans are rewatching history with brand new eyes. Here's the part folks forget. French wasn't some random mixtape hopeful begging for scraps. He had real options on the table. Rock Nation circled him, Rick Ross and MMG were pushing heavy, even Kanye's camp was showing interest. And yet, out of all those powerhouses, French walked straight into Diddy's den. That's the million-dollar question. Why would a man with so many choices take the label most infamous for bad contracts, shady dealings, and extracurricular requirements that had nothing to do with music? Because Bad Boy wasn't just a label, it was a lifestyle, and sometimes the lifestyle itself was the real buy-in. The whispers said Puff gave French more than a check. He gave him access to the wild parties, the exclusive women, the after-hours freak shows, and the unspoken code of play along and you'll get rewarded. Fans been side-eyeing that decision ever since, especially when French himself admitted he passed up bigger upfront money from Ross or Jay just to roll with Puff. And let's not act like the internet didn't notice the pattern. Every time French was spotted stumbling out of one of those infamous villas looking half dead, timelines lit up. From 2016 through 2019, people dragged up clips and photos where French looked drained, and wouldn't you know it, the dates always lined up with Puff's big celebrations. Things got nastier after Diddy's arrest in 2024, when ex-producers and associates started spilling tea about what it really took to lock in deals. One producer even claimed Puff blackballed him just for refusing to join a so-called freak off. So naturally, when the streets rewatched French's quick rise, the story wrote itself. Oh, so you stayed and signed that deal? We know what that means. Maybe no receipts got French's name in ink, but the circumstantial tea is overflowing. From Puff gifting him a whole Ciroc French vanilla flavor right after an all-night link-up, to that viral birthday video with Puff in a robe, French shirtless, both of them looking way too cozy, to French himself saying he wanted the big bag and Puff was the only one down to give it, it paints a picture. To the industry, it looked like a regular signing, but to the streets, it looked like a man paying a personal price for career elevation. And that's why people now think his Dubai move is the same play all over again. Once you prove you'll trade dignity for opportunity, folks assume you'll do it again, just with a bigger bag, flashier backdrop, and a whole new master holding the leash.
Hi, guys.
So here's where the rabbit hole gets wild. Mid-2024, French Montana pops up at Paris Fashion Week, and he ain't just flexing a new outfit, he's allegedly debuting a fiancé. And not just any fiancé, but Ciara, a princess tied directly to Dubai's ruling family. Baby, that's not some regular Bronx love story, that's a calculated chess move with billions on the board. See, around that exact time, the feds were stacking evidence on Diddy like building blocks. Freak-off tapes, trafficking whispers, shady money trails, the works. Anyone too close to Puff suddenly turned toxic. Artists, assistants, producers, even casual homies were getting subpoenas or pulled in for questioning. And French, he wasn't just another bad boy signee, he was practically Diddy's shadow. From birthday trips to Ciroc deals to constant cosigns, his name was bound to surface if prosecutors wanted the case airtight. So what does French do? He doesn't just dip out quietly, he aligns himself with one of the richest dynasties in the Middle East. Reports say the Sheikh's family is worth over $18 billion. Straight oil empire money. That's generational wealth, money so powerful it shrugs off billion-dollar headlines. And marrying into that, you don't just get luxury, you buy protection, political shielding, and residency in a country that doesn't let outsiders poke around their business. The streets swear French ain't in love, he's in full-blown survival mode. Look at the timing. The engagement happened suspiciously quick, almost perfectly synced with the heat back home. And now French is spotted more in Dubai's palaces than in New York or LA. To fans, it's a whirlwind romance wrapped in Cartier and champagne. But to critics, it screams escape plan disguised as wedding vows. And the optics keep fueling the talk. Every photo French posts with his princess, he looks sharper, cleaner, like a whole rebirth. But the comments, ruthless. People type, boy, you traded in Diddy for Dubai. Or the even harsher, better hope them sheikhs don't treat you the same way Puff did. That's the sting. French thinks he leveled up by jumping ship to Dubai. But insiders say history proves royalty flexes power in ways the industry could never match. Sometimes you don't escape a fire, you just walk into a hotter blaze with no way out.
I'll tell you what I actually learned. Yeah. A friend of mine is an air hostess, and her friend was on a flight with her, and her friend was eating like a very specific diet. So apparently the thing is, it's actually a control thing. I don't know if I can speak about sheikhs.
No, speak.
So these guys actually pay these women to hold a strict diet for like 2 weeks so that they can know that they are in complete control of what that woman is putting into her body, and the girl is shit on them.
Wow.
So it's the girls aren't even getting shit on, the girls are shit on these guys, because then the guys feel like it's sick, like it's a control thing. So then they know like, oh, you listened to me for 2 weeks.
Yeah, so that's probably their kink, that girls actually listen to
no 2-minute noodles.
Here's the part French Montana probably wishes nobody would say out loud. Running from Uncle Sam into the arms of the UAE doesn't always spell freedom. Sometimes it just means you signed up for a whole new kind of contract with rules you can't bend or break. Dubai's glossy rep is all Lambos, glittering towers, and pet tigers chilling on yachts. But the whispers, they've been ugly for years. Influencers fly in wide-eyed, chasing that tax-free glam life, then sneak back home spilling tea about palace parties where outsiders got treated more like stage props than actual people. And those stories don't separate men from women. Allegedly, both get pulled into roles they never signed up for. Now stack that against French Montana standing next to Sheik Amara's family fortune, $18 billion deep. French ain't wealthy in that world. He's ornamental, a famous foreigner with just enough shine to dress up the brand. But politically, he's powerless. Sheik Amara is the daughter of one of the most iron-fisted autocrats of our modern era. And French doesn't have the clout to push back if they ever decide he's just another accessory. People online already call it what it looks like. Less an escape from Diddy and more an upgrade to new handlers. No more freak-offs in Miami villas. Now it's private palaces in Dubai where the stakes are higher and the walls are tighter. And let's not pretend this royal family is drama-free. Remember Sheikh Amara's viral Insta divorce in 2024? She dropped her husband with 3 words, "I divorce you," and shook the whole royal circle. Admirable, sure, but it showed the world just how messy life inside that dynasty can get. Add to that her relatives' scandals, Princess Latifah's failed escape attempt, Princess Shamsa's alleged abduction, both tied to their own father, Dubai's absolute ruler, and French's brand new father-in-law. Suddenly that glossy fairy tale shine is cracking fast, because when power that heavy turns against you, there's no safe exit. Freedom ain't promised, it's conditional. That's why people clown this whole setup as his $7 billion escape plan. On paper, it's genius. Marry obscene wealth, secure permanent residency, and hide under a royal shield if the feds start knocking. But socially, baby, it's deja vu. For years, people clowned French as Puff's boy toy. The shirtless dinners, the birthday serenades, the Ciroc flavors with his name on them. Now folks are saying he swapped one sugar daddy for an entire dynasty dripping in sucrose. And here's the real bite. Hip-hop always sold French as the gritty underdog, the Moroccan hustler with Bronx pride, but royalty ain't the music business. You don't outshine them, you don't embarrass them, and you sure don't outlive your usefulness if even a fraction of those whispers hold weight. French didn't escape a velvet leash, he just traded it for a golden cage. So yeah, he left the hot water bubbling in the States, but in Dubai, whoo, baby, he might have planted himself right on top of the stove.
And I'm sure there were some other ones also.
Yeah. I came to Steve Rifkin when I had Chopper Down.
Mm-hmm.
I walked in the office, it was him and Gabi.
Yep.
And Gabi was managing. I was like, yo, Steve, give me $200,000. Let me go make music. You know what I'm saying? Just let me. Steve was like, nah, I'll give it to you.
Never got it.
Never got it. I dropped.
Which is funny because Gabi's the president of SRC. Steve is like the CEO, but
so I don't know what type of
but Steve makes the final call.
Yeah. So I asked for $200,000. You know what I'm saying? And it's like
now here's the gag. In the middle of all this chaos, the loudest voice dragging French ain't the blogs, it's 50 Cent. Sit with that for a second. What if Fifth ain't just clowning? What if he's really trying to warn him? Because if you know 50, you know he got that big brother energy, the type to roast you nonstop but still want you to win. He's been shading French for years, calling him washed up, calling him Diddy's leftover. But maybe, just maybe, he sees the velvet trap French is walking straight into. A trap that don't look like chains but smells just like those gold-plated cages people whisper about in Dubai. But flip it for a second, what if this ain't a trap to French at all? We looking at him like, damn bro, you sold your soul for protection. But what if this is exactly what he wanted? Some folks chase freedom, others chase comfort. French might not see himself as a prisoner in a palace. He might see himself as the chosen one. The Bronx kid who went from hustling mixtapes on corners to securing gold-plated security with a driver and AC on call. What we call hell, he might be living as heaven. And that's why 50's jabs sting so much, because deep down they drip with truth. 50 built his empire on independence, on owning his name, on flipping street credibility into corporate power. French, meanwhile, might have flipped survival into servitude, but here's the paradox. Who's really winning? The man still out here fighting for credibility in rap, or the man sipping tea behind palace walls, scandal-proof, insulated by $7 billion worth of insurance? It's messy, it's ironic, and it's the twisted game French Montana lives in right now. To us, he looks like property. To him, he might feel like royalty. And maybe that's the wildest twist of all. 50 might be dragging him for the whole world to laugh, but French Montana could be smiling quietly, thinking this was the plan all along. If you're rocking with this breakdown, don't just watch. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let me know if you think French is trapped or if he really finessed the ultimate come-up. And don't forget to smash that like button, share this with your people, and hit subscribe so you never miss the next story.